Carlisle's a colonialist. What if there's a sacred box of teeth? I feel like we just cracked it. I think we fixed the book. Hey, it's Hannah. You guys have been very vigilant in the commenting and the DMing and the emailing and the tweeting game to remind me that I haven't uploaded in a calendar year, perhaps. Psych, I upload monthly on Patreon. Patrons enjoy a stream of exclusive videos such as Top 10 Shittiest Pieces of Writing Advice, Quest for the Worst, Tall Girl 2, reviewing my own job application. We did an arts and crafts one, I can't tell you what I made. Blooper reels, early access, unlisted videos, behind the scenes content, etc. Thank you to my patrons for sponsoring this video. You're gonna see their names go in a cute little list at the end of this one. Today we're digging up the old Twilight Rewrite. That's the series where we rewrite the Twilight book to make it a little better, but mostly to make it much worse. If you'd like to catch up on where we've been, I will link the playlist. But a quick recap for the uninitiated. Jacob is a girl. Eric is a girl. Lauren has replaced the Bing search sequence. Buffy Summers is also portrayed by Lauren. Charlie, king of my world. Bella is much cooler to hang out with and has a knife. Edward still might die. Every chapter brings us a little closer to his ultimate end. Okay, we left off, I think, Jacob and Jacob's dad, Billy. I gotta get my head back in the game. Oh, and then Bella asked permission again to go out with Edward, but Edward is evil. And we had Bella and Lauren have that whole scene where they talked about how evil all the vampires are. Yeah, so Lauren gave her like a vampire file and she was like, you can look through this at your own leisure. And Lauren comes from like a long line of vampire hunters or some shit like that. So we can come back and fill this in whenever we do our 5-chapter compilation edit. Sorry, I gotta orient myself. This is in my merch shop, by the way. I'm quite happy with it. I slept better that night, too tired to dream again. When I woke to the pearl gray morning, my mood was blissful. The tense evening with Billy and Jacob seemed harmless enough now. We need to relax on the semicolon still. I always forget that Stephanie's like that. I decided to forget it completely. I caught myself whistling while I was pulling the front part of my hair back into a barrette, and later again as I skipped down the stairs. Charlie noticed. Wait, she's happy? You're cheerful this morning, he commented over breakfast. I shrugged. It's Friday. So since we added that scene with her and Lauren, she's no longer excited to hang out with Edward. She should be a little worried. So maybe she's going into this as like a fact-finding mission. So yeah, she'll just be excited because she's going to get information on Edward. That's our new emotion to convey. The protective herb satchel Lauren gave me tucked into the side pocket of my bag. Even though I rushed to the door as soon as I was sure Charlie would be out of sight, Edward was faster. He was waiting in his shiny car, windows down, engine off. I think I'm gonna change this to he was presumably waiting in his shiny car with the engine off. And then the tent was so dark, looking into the windows was like staring into a moonless night. We're gonna make him a little more mysterious and a little creepier and a little more full-grown adult man pursuing a teenager. I didn't hesitate this time, climbing into the passenger side quickly, the sooner to see his face. No, she's gonna hesitate. Okay, I tried to hide my hesitation, focusing on the herb satchel in my bag and the feeling of my knife pressing against my thigh. I'm not helpless. So she's focusing on the fact that she has a defense against him as she's going into this dangerous fact-finding mission. What would I feel like we need something specific that she's trying to get out of him. What if we added, wait, so if Bella were a real and logical girl, she would be picking up on some of these red flags. She would at least be hesitant. I guess I haven't met every single teenage girl. I just think that they're smarter than this. So I want her to have a reason to be around the Cullens. And I think Lauren might provide a good opportunity for that because maybe she starts helping Lauren with her research, or maybe she feels like she has to protect Charlie. Okay, so canon. The Cullens are oppressing the Quileutes. Is that the tribe? I hate Carlisle Cullen. I'll say it. I think he's a piece of shit. So Carlisle, who is hundreds of years old, I don't remember how old. Someone can remind me how old Carlisle is, but he's way older than everyone else. He could be anywhere, and he insists upon living, for some reason, on these Native Americans' land. and he continues to like they have a non-violence truce, but why does he have to live there? So I think we already have, like, in the actual canon of the story, Carlisle's a colonialist. So since he's already oppressing these people, what if they stole something from the tribe? And that's like the real reason for all the beef. It's not because they're vampires and werewolves. It's because the Cullens specifically stole something from that tribe. What would a wolf tribe have as like a sacred object? So then we could have Bella try to like retrieve something from them. That would make it a little cooler and I think add some excitement. What if Carlisle took all of their ancestor wolves' like teeth? Like what if after a wolf dies, they take a tooth and they put it in some kind of box, and Carlisle took their tooth box? What else would be important to a wolf? I feel like teeth are very pivotal. That's like their weapon. Or like a lock of their hair, so he just has like a box of wolf hair, and they need to get it back because that's where they get their power, because it's ancestral power. I'm not gonna do any of that right now, but I want y'all to think it over and let me know. Okay, so she's just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with Edward. Maybe we can give Bella an angle of like worrying about all the other teenage girls here. Like she's been parentified by her mother, so she naturally is going to want to take care of other people. It's weird that we don't see that in Twilight. It's kind of strange that she doesn't like adopt any of her friends and like try to look out for them. So that would make sense to me with the way that she was brought up, that she would be trying to take care of other people. So she could just have like that burden of responsibility, knowing that these vampires are in a high school with other children. I remember at the beginning of this series, I was like, I'm not going to change too much. What if there's a sacred box of teeth? He grinned his crooked smile at me, stopping my breath and my heart. I couldn't imagine how an angel could be any more glorious. There was nothing about him that could be improved upon. Okay, what if we take out the last sentence? I couldn't imagine how an angel could be any more glorious. We'll stay Christian for Stephanie Meyer. So images of biblical angels, like 3 stories tall with thousands of eyes, flash through my mind. I wonder what grotesqueness hides behind Edward's cherubic, is that a word? Face. Cherubic feels like a word. How did you sleep? He asked. I wonder if he had any idea how appealing his voice. Ew. Okay. What if we say like, his voice was like a lullaby, easing me into compliance. I traced the outline of my knife's handle through my pants, through my jeans. She keeps that thing on her. Fine, how's your night? Pleasant. His smile was amused. I felt like I was missing an inside joke. Can I ask what you did? I asked. No, he grinned. Today is still mine. All right. He wanted to know about people today. More about Renee, her hobbies, what we'd done in our free time together, and then the one grandmother I'd known. My few school friends, embarrassing me when he asked about boys I dated. I was relieved that I'd never really dated anyone, so that particular conversation couldn't last long. Bella's a virgin, and that makes her better than everyone else, so jot that down. He seemed as surprised as Jessica and Angela by my lack of romantic history, because she's hot, but she's modest, because modest is hottest. So you never met anyone you wanted? He asked in a serious tone that made me wonder what he was thinking about. I was grudgingly honest. Not in Phoenix. His lips pressed together into a hard line. I love that he's like, hey, listen, we're gonna go on dates. I need to know everything about you. I'm obsessed with you. I love you. And then she suggests that she likes him back, and he's like, listen, bitch, I'm bad for you. His lips pressed together into a hard line. We were in the cafeteria at this point. The day had sped by in a blur that was rapidly becoming routine. I took advantage of his brief pause to take a bite of my bagel. I should have let you drive yourself today, he announced, apropos of nothing, while I chewed. Why? I demanded. I'm leaving with Alice after lunch. Oh, I blinked, bewildered and disappointed. That's okay. It's not that far of a walk. He frowned at me impatiently. I'm not going to make you walk home. We'll go get your truck and leave it here for you. Okay. So I think I'm going to leave everything that happens and leave their dialogue, but I'm just going to have her internal world be like she's studying him and she's scared the whole time. I'm going to leave that because this is her, like, she's calculating him. Can I ask what you did? I asked, stomaching. Can I ask what you did? I asked, stomaching visions of Edward ripping someone's throat open with his teeth. No, he grinned. Today is still mine. He grinned, and an abnormally long incisor shined. It's because he's a vampire. He wanted to know about people today, more about Renee, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to take out her being embarrassed about boys and have it be like my few school friends. When he asked about boys I dated, I hedged, pretending I didn't have any serious boyfriends or any interest in them. He seemed as surprised as Jessica and Angela by my lack of romantic history, but I could tell I'd answered correctly. He almost looked pleased. So like, you know that toxic boyfriend thing where they ask you a question expecting a very certain answer, and the way that you perform will dictate how they treat you. So I think I'm going to give Edward some of that. I'm sorry, a toxic person thing to do. Equal opportunity. Girls, traumatize them back. So you never met anyone you wanted, he asked in a serious tone that made me wonder what he was thinking about. So instead of I was grudgingly honest, I could be like, I answered carefully. Not in Phoenix. His lips pressed together into a hard line. We were in the cafeteria at this point. The day had sped by in the blur that was rapidly becoming routine. I took advantage of his brief pause to take a bite of my bagel. Yeah, I thought they were in the car. They're in the cafeteria, or did he park outside the cafeteria? The day had sped by in a blur that was rapidly becoming routine. I took advantage of his brief pause. Like, is Edward just grilling her? I'm gonna take that out because I don't really... Anyway, I should have let you drive yourself today, he announced. Why? I demanded. Any shift in his routine sent warning bells down my spine. Because we're scared. Because he's a monster. I'm leaving with Alice after lunch. Oh, I blinked, bewildered and disappointed. That's okay. It's not that far of a walk. I'm going to take out bewildered and disappointed. He frowned at me impatiently. I'm going to take out impatiently because he's frowning, like we kind of know. He frowned at me. I'm not going to make you walk home. We'll go get your truck and leave it here for you. I don't have my key, I sighed. I'm going to take out with me. Because he just said for you, and then she said with me. And it's not exactly repetitive, but it feels repetitive in my head. I don't have a key, I sighed. I really don't mind walking. What I minded was losing my time with him. What I minded was losing track of him. He could be doing anything to anyone. If he wasn't busy with me, I feel like we just cracked it. I think we fixed the book. He shook his head. Your truck will be here and the key will be in the ignition unless you're afraid someone might steal it. He laughed at the thought. Haha, your truck is shitty, you stupid bitch. Some people think that all right is like this. Some people think it's like that. I've never seen the double L no space all right. Is that a word y'all are familiar with? Okay. All right, I agreed, pursing my lips. I was pretty sure my key was in the pocket of a pair of jeans I wore Wednesday under a pile of clothes in my laundry room. Even if you broke into my house or whatever he was planning, you'd never find it. He seemed to feel the challenge in my consent. Tagline, anyone? He smirked, overconfident. I need to make more tea. I have no idea where we stopped. Oh, we were just making her feel scared. I think we could also just say casually, because I feel like anytime you say casually, especially in first person, we know it's not casual. Hunting, he answered grimly. If I'm going to be alone with you tomorrow, I'm going to take whatever precautions I can. So am I. His face grew morose and pleading. You can always cancel, you know. I'm going to change that to like... He said it. You ever write a sentence and then you look back at it and it's like, wait a minute, is that a sentence? What am I saying? Okay. You can always cancel, you know. He said it like someone gives suggestions. He said it like giving a suggestion to fill silence or a social quota. I'm going to take out of sorts. Maybe expectation instead of quota would make it clearer. I like what I'm trying to say, but I don't think I'm saying it properly. He said it like someone giving a suggestion to fill silence, not a suggestion they think you'll actually take. That'll be fine for now. If you hate this sentence, come to our stream, twitch.tv/HannahLeeKidder, at whatever point that we finish chapter 15, and you can tell me all about it. I looked down, afraid of the persuasive power of his eyes. I refused to be convinced to fear him, no matter how real the danger might be. It doesn't matter, I repeated in my head. I am one of the only things between the high schoolers of Forks High. Wait, the students. I am one of the only things standing between the students of Forks High and a family of bloodthirsty demons. No, I whispered, glancing back at his face. I can't. I think we fixed her. It can always be done. It can't always be done. Perhaps you're right, he murmured bleakly. Man, I haven't been socked by a Stephanie Meyer dialogue tag in a minute. That one got me. Okay. Perhaps you're right, he murmured bleakly. His eyes darkened. I changed the subject. What time will I see you tomorrow? I asked, already depressed by the thought of leaving him now. Nope. I asked to change the subject. That depends. It's a Saturday. Don't you want to sleep in? This should be capitalized. Not italicized. That's my bad. Stop it. Okay. That depends. It's a Saturday. Don't you want to sleep in? He offered no. I answered too fast. He restrained a smile. Obviously interpreting my nervous energy as affection. I swallowed bile. The same time as usual then, he decided. Will Charlie be there? No, he's fishing tomorrow. I beamed at the memory of how conveniently things had worked out. Charlie would be perfectly safe. His voice turned sharp. And if you don't come home, what will he think? I have no idea, I answered coolly. But blood rushed in my ears, or blood rushed behind my eardrums. I wondered if Edward could hear it too. See in her head. He knows I've been meaning to do the laundry. Maybe he'll think I fell in the washer. He scowled at me and I scowled back. There should be a comma there. Grammatically, if you're writing this book and you're like, I don't want a comma there. I don't like how it makes it read. Don't put a comma. His anger was much more impressive than mine. Ew. What are you hunting tonight? I asked when I was sure I had lost the glowering contest. Whatever we find in the park. We aren't going far. He seemed bemused by my casual references to his secret realities. Why are you going with Alice? I wondered. Alice is the most supportive. He frowned as he spoke. And the others? I asked timidly. What are they? His brow puckered. I hate that. Wrinkled. For a brief moment. Incredulous for the most part. I peeked quickly behind me at his family. They sat staring off in different directions, exactly the same as the first time I'd seen them. They're such freaks. It's hilarious. Why are they in school at all? Only now they were 4. Their beautiful bronze-haired brother sat across from me, his golden eyes troubled. Okay, that's really dumb. We know that Edward's sitting with you. They don't like me, I guessed. That's not it, he disagreed, but his eyes were too innocent. They don't understand why I can't leave you alone. I grimaced. Neither do I, for that matter. Edward shook his head slowly, rolling his eyes toward the ceiling before he met my gaze again. I told you. What'd you tell her? What'd you tell her, big boss? You don't see yourself clearly at all. You're not like anyone I've ever known. You fascinate me. I glared at him, sure he was teasing now. Okay, hold on. Every girl likes to feel special, but a man over 100 years old who has lived through a third of modern American history, who has powers beyond anything I can imagine, is trying to tell me, a 16-year-old book nerd who lives in Forks, Washington, that I'm unique. I'm not buying that. I'm trying to keep Stephanie Meyer's voice. I wonder how many other girls he's pulled this with. To what end? Is it a sex thing? Is he planning to eat me? Is it both? There isn't an explanation I can conjure that rings ethical. He smiled as he deciphered my expression. No, he didn't. Having the advantages I do, he murmured, touching his... Oh my God, he is touching his forehead. He literally said, having the advantages I do, I have a better than average grasp of human nature. People are predictable, but you never do what I expect. Literally just because he can't directly read her thoughts. He's not intuitive. He doesn't have good observation skills. He can literally hear people's thoughts and can't hear hers. I looked away, my eyes wandering back to his family, embarrassed and dissatisfied. His words made me feel like a science experiment. I wanted to laugh at myself for expecting anything else. That part is easy enough to explain, he continued. I felt his eyes on my face, but I couldn't look at him yet, afraid he might read the chagrin in my eyes. But there's more, and it's not easy. It's not so easy to put into words. I was still staring at the Cullens. Wait, there? While he spoke, suddenly Rosalie, his blonde and breathtaking sister. I didn't even write that. That's her. Turned to look at me. No, not to look. To glare with dark, cold eyes. I wanted to look away, but her gaze held me until Edward broke off mid-sentence and made an angry noise under his breath. It was almost a hiss. Rosalie turned her head, and I was relieved to be free. I looked back at Edward, and I knew he could see the confusion and fear that widened my eyes. His face was tight as he explained. Okay, I'm gonna take out as he explained. I'm sorry about that. She's just worried. You see, it's dangerous for more than just me if... What the fuck? Okay, we're gonna collect ourselves, and we're gonna go back to that sentence with fresh eyes, and we're gonna understand what it means. You see, it's dangerous for more than just me if, after spending so much time with you so publicly, he looked down. If this ends... The bootleg copy that I have here clearly just copied as a large block of text, and I don't think that's making it less readable. I think I would be just as confused if this were formatted. Okay. He dropped his head into his hands as he had that night in Port Angeles. His anguish was plain. I yearned to comfort him, but I was at a loss to know how. My hand reached toward him involuntarily. Quickly, though, I dropped it to the table, fearing that my touch would only make things worse. I realized slowly that his words should frighten me. I waited for that fear to come, but all I could seem to feel was an ache for his pain and frustration. Frustration that Rosalie had interrupted whatever he was about to say. I didn't know how to bring it up again. He still had his head in his hands. I tried to speak in a normal voice. And you have to leave now? Yes. He raised his face. It was serious for a moment, and then his mood shifted and he smiled. It's probably for the best. We still have 15 minutes of that wretched movie left to endure in biology. I don't think I could take any more. I started. Wait, what? Wait, is this her? Alice, her short inky hair in a halo of spiky disarray around her exquisite elfin face, was suddenly standing behind his shoulder. Her slight frame was willowy, graceful even in absolute stillness. To be honest, I think I'm going to take most of this out. His anguish was plain. Shut the fuck up. She just worried. You see, it's dangerous from... I think instead of making this so stupid, he'll be like, it's dangerous for all of us, not just me. If... He looked down. If this ends badly. Whatever. I don't care. I'm going to get rid of all of that. I'm going to get rid of this. This seriously, so it's probably for the best. We still have blah, 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 blah. Alice, her short, inky hair and a halo of spiky disarray around her exquisite elfin face, was suddenly standing behind his shoulder. Her slight frame was willowy, graceful even in absolute stillness. He greeted her without looking away from me. Alice... Okay, wait. I thought he just dropped his head in his hands. Good thing we got rid of that. Edward, she answered, her high soprano voice almost as attractive as his. Alice, Bella, Alice, he introduced us, gesturing casually with his hand. Alice, Bella Alice. That's what I'm picturing. Hello, Bella. Her brilliant obsidian eyes were unreadable, but her smile was friendly. It's nice to finally meet you. Edward flashed a dark look at her. Hi, Alice, I murmured shyly. Are you ready? She asked him. His voice was aloof. I think I'm gonna put in some pro-Alice stuff. Like, her gaze didn't give me the same nasty shiver in my stomach like Edward's did. Edward flashed a dark look at her, and I wondered what their home life was like. I think we're gonna finish this weird clump of words, and then I'll call it for this video. His voice was aloof. Nearly, I'll meet you at the car. She left without another word. Her walk was so fluid, so sinuous, that I felt a sharp pang of jealousy. Ew. They would take out that I felt a sharp pain, whatever. She's just watching her walk sinuously? Sinuous? Across somewhere between a professional ballerina and a snake. Should I say have fun, or is that the wrong sentiment? I asked, turning back to him. No, have fun works as well as anything, he grinned. Have fun then. I worked to sound wholehearted. Of course I didn't fool him. I'll try. He still grinned. And you tried to be safe, please. Safe in Forks. What a challenge. For you, it is a challenge, his jaw hardened. Promise. Ew, wait, he's telling her to promise? Promise. I promise to try to be safe, I recited. I'll do the laundry tonight. That ought to be fraught with peril. Don't fall in, he mocked. What is their vibe supposed to be? It's not enemies to lovers. He stood then, and I rose too. I'll see you tomorrow, I sighed. It seems like a long time to you, doesn't it? He mused. You stupid baby. I nodded glumly. I'll be there in the morning, he promised, smiling. His crooked smile, he reached across the table to touch my face. Gross. We're gonna handle that next time. Nasty. Thank you for watching. You can read the first 10 chapters in a PDF. It'll be linked in the description. You just have to sign up for the mailing list. You should also follow me on Twitch because every 5 chapters we do a compilation edit so you guys can catch my plot holes or make suggestions. Whatever. This is a group effort. Thank you for playing. Whoa! I'll see you next time.